Okay, well, hi everybody. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be able to participate in this. Back in the late 70s, I was actually working in another field. I'd graduated with a chemistry degree, but I decided that that really wasn't what I wanted to do. My first love was really audio. And so I was living in Calgary at the time, and I did a bit of research to find out, well, where can you go in Canada to study audio? And I did some work with the Audio Engineering Society Journal, and I found Stan and John. And so I wrote them a letter, and I got a very gracious response and an invitation to come and talk to them about the possibility of studying there. So I was very pleased to have the opportunity to go and pursue that field. I started working with Stan and John in 1980. I actually was registered in the electrical engineering department, but did most of my research for my master's thesis with Stan and John in the audio research group there. And at the time, the topic that I'd selected was computer modeling of binaural localization, and they had the Kemar mannequin available, but it only had one ear, and I really needed 2 ears for my studies. So I was able to beat the bushes a bit in the industry in Canada, and actually got a loan of one from Bell Northern Research. So I did, that was what I did my master's thesis on, but in the 3 years that I was working with the group, we worked on quite a few other things. We did, well, I think Stan's right. Stan did build the phase box. I worked on some of the potentiometer circuitry on that. But we did the audibility of mid-range phase distortion, and did a bunch of ABX testing on that, and that was a very interesting project. We worked on I did some experimental measurement work on some JBL drivers for the development of the THX theater crossover network. So that was a really interesting project. And we worked on a number of other listening tests as not so much part of our research, but part of the investigation into some of the mythology, I guess, around some of the audio components. After graduating from Waterloo, I made contact with Bell Northern Research, and so I worked with them for a number of years in their telecommunications department. And we, starting out, did a lot of subjective testing, sort of following up on the work that we'd done on the ABX test box. I worked on automating that so that we could collect data on the computer system, because we were needing to run a lot of subjects to get statistical significance. And then went on to do some of the hardware-based development work with microphones, loudspeaker assemblies, hands-free devices, handsets, that sort of thing. After about 7 years with Bell Northern Research, I then went to Novotel Communications in Calgary, and did work there with their cellular handsets, cellular-based hands-free systems, both for automotive and consumer-type products. Subsequent to that, I for a number of years, I got out of the audio industry and actually worked in product development for wireless data and location-based services. But recently, in the last few years, I've got back into the audio field with doing some consulting work on consumer electronics development. So in terms of some of the things that you can draw from my time at the Audio Research Group, I think that there's a number of themes that I learned with the Audio Research Group that served me well through my career. With John, I think one of the key things was that you really should be able to measure things, and there should be a way of figuring out how to measure some kind of an artifact, if there is one, or a characteristic of a device. with Stan, I think it was, there really should be a way of understanding what it is and how it works. And that's sometimes more difficult, but it's important because what I found was that historically a lot of the groups that I went to work with, there wasn't a strong science basis for what they were doing. And that was a discipline that I tried to bring with me. I think that I also learned how easy it is to get bad data because it's very easy to do something wrong or not recognize an artifact in the measurements. I did a lot of that at Waterloo, and with the help of Stan and John was able to identify a lot of those issues. So that's something that I think I learned as well. And basically just the value of collaborating with the technical community and being able to keep in touch and with the field and with other people working in the area. So those are some of the things I think that I was able to follow through with. Thank you.